Oh, hi. Welcome to part 5 on solving the cube blindfolded, M2 known Pochmann style for the win. I know it's been like 3 months since I posted the last video on this, and I'm sorry, but I kind of stopped cubing for a while since school started, really. So I haven't really been into it. But I am back to finish what I started, and probably I'm going to post some more videos soon. So in this part, I'm going to teach you how to memorize the corners with old Pochmann method, how I do it. I was taught by Derek Eady, and yes, I did get his name correct this video. And it combines visual memorization with some letters. So the visual tells you where the corner belongs, and the letters tell you which side. So let's get into it now! Step number 1 when memorizing the corners is to look at the top sticker of this corner back here. This is our buffer position, if you remember from solving the corners. So we look at the top sticker and we ask ourselves what color that is. That's the color orange. So therefore our first letter in the memorization would be the letter O. Except that's not all, because what that tells us is our first corner belongs somewhere on the orange face. But there are 4 corners on the orange face. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we don't know which one. Now, to find which corner it belongs to, we want to look at the other stickers of our buffer. This is the orange, yellow, blue, and we know that since orange is on the back, yellow is on the bottom, blue is on the right, this orange, yellow, blue corner belongs down here, in between the orange, yellow, blue, right? So now we have our position where it belongs, which is here, and we have the letter O, which is the orange side. We're trying to get the orange side of this position into our buffer when solving it. So to remember which position it belongs to, what you want to do is you want to tap the position on the cube. There are 8 positions on the for 8 different corners in the cube, 4 on the top, and 4 on the bottom. So in this case, our position is the orange, yellow, blue position, which is down here. So we tap that position and say O, because it's the orange side. That's how we memorize. So we O, and then we're going to continue on to the next corners. To find out which corner comes next, we can't look at the top again because we're memorizing, we're not solving, so we won't know what comes here. But in order to figure out what's going to be on top next time, we think back to our last corner and ask ourselves what color the sticker was. So since we had O, we want to find the orange side of this position. Now you might think the orange side of this corner is down here because it's an orange sticker. But there is a difference between sticker and side. The orange side of this position would actually be here, this sticker, because that's orange, the orange face. And that's what we're dealing with. So our first memorization will be O as we tap this back position, and then the orange side of this corner is white. So our next one would be W, and this corner, white, blue, orange belongs up here. White, blue, orange. So the next one would be this position, and it would be W because that's the orange side, white. So our memorization so far is O, W, O, W, O, W. And you have to remember which positions you're tapping in the right order, because that tells you where the corners actually belong. So O at the bottom here, and then W at the top right here. O, W. And you continue doing that for the rest of your memorization. I'll do like 2 more just to show you. To find the third corner now, because we memorized 2, to memorize the third corner, once again we won't know what's going to come here, so we want to think back to our last corner, which was the second W of here. So we want to find the white side of this corner and take a guess what it is. Okay, you're wrong. Actually, you might be right, I don't know. But it's not what you might think, and this is not the white side of this corner. Just because it's a white sticker doesn't mean it's the white side. The white side of this corner is actually up here, because that's where the white face is. So we have OW, and then the white side of here is actually green. It's the green sticker. So our third corner would have the letter G in it, meaning it belongs here on the green side. To find which one of these, we look at the other 2, and it's white, red. So the white, red, green belongs right up here. That's our position. So we have O of this position, W of this position, and G of this position. I hope you follow. So now I'm going to convert that memorization into actually solving it. We're going to start with your first corner and do them one at a time. We think back to our first one, which was O of this position. What that tells us is we want to get the orange side of here into our buffer position here to solve it. The orange side of this sticker of this corner, is here. So our setup to bring this into our buffer would be D prime, right? It brings this sticker back here into our buffer, D prime. Then we use the Y prime to switch it, and then undo that, and you can see it's solved. Now the next one, without looking at our buffer up here, I'm not going to show you what that is. We memorized W of this position. The white side of this corner is up here because white's on top, so we want to get this sticker into our buffer, like with the setup R to bring it down here, and D prime to slide it over. Now we switch it out, undo the setup, D R prime, and you can see the first two are solved. Now the third corner, we memorize G of this position. As you can see, the green's on top now. So we memorize G of this position, meaning that this buffer has to go to the G side, the green side of this corner, right? So we want to get this sticker into our buffer with setup F2. If you can't see that, it'll bring this sticker to here. F1, F2, right? Y prime, undo that, F2. So there it's solved. So the basic concept is you start off, the first corner is you look at this sticker, and that'll give you a letter. And you keep that letter in your head, and you find where the position. Like for this next one, it'd be yellow, red, blue. There's the position, and it's the yellow, so it'd be Y as you tap that position. And you do that for all the corners, and you should have a pretty easy corner memo. Some of it might be complex, like you might have Y, B, R, G, and you might have to keep repeating that to memorize it. What I like to do to memorize hard stuff like that is I try and pronounce it. So YBRG would be Yabrug or something, right? Yabrug. But you also have to remember the positions for them. So it might seem a little complicated, but don't give up. I'm going to post a full example solve next. So if there's one particular thing you're confused on in this whole tutorial so far, it might clear some things up. So now I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the special cases for memorizing corners. Okay, this first special case is something that also happens when you're solving the edges. And that is that when you're solving whatever, it doesn't matter, corners or edges, your buffer can get solved sometimes. So here we can see the white, green, orange is actually already solved. So we can't look at this top sticker to see where the corner belongs because it's already there. However, we have corners in the cube that aren't solved, like this one and this one back here. So we want to solve these, but the buffer's already solved. So what do we do? Answer is exactly what you do for the edges. You can pick any side of any unsolved corner. So since we have two corners, we have 6 possibilities. We can pick any of these 3 sides or any of these 3 sides. And we pretend like the buffer had to go there. So we switch it with the buffer. Let's just say we pick this side. We would bring this into our setup with R prime and switch it with the buffer. Even though it'll make the buffer unsolved, right? And it'll just screw, it looks like it screws things up more, it doesn't. Because what you want to now do is just continue like what you normally would. This is the green sticker, so we have the letter G in our memo, and the green, yellow, orange is down here. It's that position. So you say G, and we're going to solve that one. So bring the green side of here into the buffer, Y perm, oops, and you just continue like you normally would. I'll just finish up, and you can see the corners are all solved now. So if you have unsolved corners while the buffer is solved, you switch it out with any of the unsolved corners and continue like you normally would until it's all solved. You'll start getting the hang of it. Case number 2. The second thing that you might notice when trying to memorize corners is that you will have unoriented corners like this. So even these don't have, the other ones don't have to be solved, but like if you have a corner that's in position but it has to be rotated, if you remember when I taught you how to solve the corners, there are 2 different algorithms for rotating corners clockwise and counterclockwise. Now to memorize corners, if they're like this, I don't actually memorize them really at all. I leave them to the end. I memorize all my other corners normally first, and then I look to see if there are any corners unoriented like this. So if this was the case, I would remember the position where the corner is unoriented, which is here. So after I finish the corners, I go, okay, there's a corner here, and I have to flip it in clockwise or counterclockwise, because it's unsolved. And you can see this has to be rotated counterclockwise, because white needs to go on top, red on front, and blue on the right. So that's a counterclockwise rotation, and the letter for that is A, or anti-clockwise. If it was clockwise, you'd remember C. So to memorize this, to flip this right at the end, I would just tap this and say A. Okay? So that's how you flip corners. I'm running out of time, so I have to go really fast. Bye. Okay, finally, the last part, I don't even need a cube to explain it. If you remember, you can get parity in the corners, where if you have an odd number of corners, you have parity. Now that you know memorization, if you have an odd number of letters, like if you had the letter E and then E, what am I saying? If you had like B, B, R, that's 3 corners, then you have parity. You don't have to memorize parity. Once you're done corners, just count your way back. If you had an odd number, just tell yourself to do parity. And I hope this helps. Look out for the next part. It'll probably clear things up. Okay, bye.